Instagram, what up, man? What's good, Instagram? Wait for some people to get in the room. Intuitive views, what's good? Reflection, peace to the gods. Peace, peace, peace. See if somebody else come in the room real quick, then we gonna get into it. We gonna get into it. But as usual, reflected light from the Most High Chi Babaji, you feel me, my enlightener, free to three, you feel me? All praise due. God is Demi, what's good, reflection, how you feeling? So look, listen, y'all. Like the Most High Chi Babaji teaches us, it's Star Wars going on right now. We are at genetic warfare. Now you may be asking, how you tying Star Wars to genetic warfare? Well, if you understood the Hermetic principles, the 7 laws of Hermeticism, it'll show you that through the second law is the law of correspondence. That law states that as above, so below, so within, so without. Life is fractal, right? So what's going on and taking place up in the constellations, in the cosmos, in the astral realms, in the planetary bodies, is actually being projected down here on Earth on a biological level. Now we have to remember, like Chief teaches us, astrology and biology are the study of the same concepts with different interpretations. So when we're talking about genetics or your genome, we're actually talking about your astrological program. Your genome is your activated ACTs and Gs on a DNA strand. And astrology is congruent or synonymous to that same concept. It's just 2 different interpretations, astrology and biology. So Star Wars, what's going on in the stars is happening genetically below. As above, so below. We are at genetic warfare. Now you got to ask yourself, how are we at war with genetics? Well, you got to understand that the first Hermetic principle is that all is mental, the law of mentalism, and that we are all cells living inside the body. DNA is the mind of God, right? Life is a holographic projection of a collective mind. We are, us being individual cells, finite versions of the infinite. We are all different attributes of that mind of God, which is DNA. So an attribute of DNA would be a gene. So we are different genes or different thought gene expressions of the mind of God, which is DNA. And everything from the planets, all of that is right here, right now, is taking place in your mind, like Chief teaches. You're not experiencing life outside of you. You are experiencing life or reality within the center of vision in your brain called the visual cortex. All life is being experienced within your mind because you are living inside of your mind. You're not outside. You're inside of your own body. And you're inside of your own body. You're inside of your own mind, like Chief teaches us. So, Chief teaches us that if you want to control the mind of a person, if you want to manipulate the mind of a being, what is it that you have to do? Because the manipulation is so subtle. The war tactics that we see going on now today in society is so subtle. It's on a biological level. It's on a subatomic level, right? So in order for you to control a person or manipulate the mind of the masses, you must create a simulated environment where you can harness their food, their water, their sunlight, their oxygen, their oxygen supply. You want to be able to manipulate all of their elements. The food comes from the earth. The sunlight is the fire. The air, which is oxygen, is the air. You feel me? And the water is what? That's the last element. That's the liquid. So in order for you to control an individual or control a human being, you must control their natural resources. So why is the natural resources being controlled? Well, the natural resources are being controlled because the powers that be, the lower self, they know that we are all cells. And like Chief teaches us, your body, you're not just one cell. You're not just one person. You're not an individual. You are a collective or a community of 50 trillion cells moving as one unit. Your body or your being is made up of 50 trillion cells. And then the centerpiece of every cell in your body is DNA. DNA is what? The mind of God. Life is fractal. You are a cell, which is God. And the cells in your body look up to you as God. And they are God as well. What you are doing, they are doing. What they are doing, you are doing. So, you got 50 trillion cells that make up your being. And the centerpiece of all of those cells is DNA. DNA is the molecular blueprint for all living things. That is the mind of a cell. DNA is the mind of a cell. It's the instruction for that cell to become what it needs to become. Now, the warfare starts when you start to genetically modify the elements that human beings are supposed to be intaking. Now, our food has been manipulated. Our water has been manipulated. Our oxygen supply has been manipulated. Our sunlight is manipulated. You got to think about it. We live in the northern hemisphere. The sun is only giving out UVA. UVA actually promotes skin cancer. We don't live in a natural environment. We live in a simulated environment. So there's genetic warfare going on off top by us being put inside of a simulated environment that's not conducive for our growth and our genetic makeup. We are all melanated beings. I don't care what color you are, what shade of brown you are, like Chief teaches us. All humanity is brown. And being that you are melanated, you need to be in a tropical environment where the sun is more premium and more conducive, where you're getting more UVB, which helps you produce steroid hormone D, which allows your pituitary gland to produce MSH, which is melanocyte stimulating hormone. This allows your body to produce melanin that protects your body and your mind, your device, for harmful rays of light radiation from the sun. So the very fact that we are in the northern hemisphere getting UVA and no UVB, this is a war. This is a war against our genetics. Look at the oxygen. We live in a carbonated environment like the Most High Chief Babaji teaches us. The majority of our oxygen supply comes from the trees. The trees, right? When we breathe out, we breathe in oxygen from the trees and from the water. And then we breathe out through our mouth carbon dioxide. The trees take that carbon dioxide, alchemize it for us to later get oxygen from it. But what happens when cells inside the body, which are humans, what happens when humans start to cut down trees and start to destroy plant life around the country, around the world? Well, what happens is we begin to start living in a carbonated environment. You remember when COVID-19 was going on and everybody was wearing masks? Those masks were actually causing people to start to have respiratory infections. A respiratory infection is a lung disease. It's a disease with the lungs, a malfunction with breathing, with the oxygen supply that you are getting. So being that we are in the northern hemisphere and we are living in a carbonated environment from cutting down trees, and we're rendering ourselves susceptible to respiratory infections, towards not being able to breathe correctly. On top of that, look at our food. Now, I don't know if y'all know something about this this branch of science, but Chief teaches us. It's called nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is a branch of science that's devoted and designed to manipulate molecular, ionic, or atoms. It's meant to manipulate molecular structures. Now, you might be asking me, well, why is that important? What did that have to do with genetic warfare? What do nanotechnology have to do with genetic warfare? It has everything to do with genetic warfare, like she teaches us, because you are a cell. At the centerpiece of a cell is DNA. If you alter the DNA of something, you change the genetic expression of it. You change the perception and the behavior of it. So when they have nanotechnology out here, CRISPR, go look it up. There's something called CRISPR. This is a branch of science in nanotechnology that they use on a nanoscale level. I'm talking about on a microscopic level to manipulate your genetics. Watch this. They put synthetic forms of microRNAs inside of fruits and vegetables inside the grocery store. Look at your tomato. Look at the apple. You know how you got the shiny ass, pretty looking apple that don't got no bruises on it? The tomato that's real shiny, that don't got no bruises on it, that been sitting on the shelf in the store for 2 months? Yeah, this is a part of nanotechnology, because a normal fruit or a normal vegetable is not supposed to take that long to rot. An organic fruit or vegetable, the enzymes inside of that fruit will begin to eat that material up if it's on that shelf for too long. Even if you take a fruit off the tree and sit it on the ground in nature, the enzymes inside of that fruit will begin to eat it up. It will begin to rot because it's starting to lose life force, because it's disconnected from the tree. It's disconnected from its source. That's the same thing that's going on with us, and the same thing that's going on with the food in your grocery store, especially the produce. It's being given poisonous microRNAs and altering or gene editing the fruit or the vegetable so that it can last longer or have a longer shelf life. Same thing with the water. They're purifying and putting chemicals like chlorine and fluoride inside of our water that alters our genetic readout. So what happens when human beings, which are astrological beings, we are made up of astrological energies, right? Like she teaches us, right? We are all star beings. We all come from different star constellations. And we are at war with our lower self. Our lower self is a different version of us in a parallel universe. So we are at Star Wars in genetic warfare due to us being in a simulated environment. And the lower self, which is Europeanism or white supremacy, putting harmful microRNAs inside of our food, inside of our drinking water. Nanotechnologies like chemtrails in the sky. Yeah, they put chemtrails in the sky to block the sun or try to block the sun. What happens when these nanotechnology particles come in and interact with your skin? You see what I'm saying? It's modifying your skin. Same thing that happens when human beings begin to eat genetically modified foods or genetically modified water. You feel me? Purified water. Water that's in a bottle. Still water. What happens is, remember, your DNA is your mind. So if you alter the genetics or the DNA of a human being, you will alter the mind or the thought patterns of that person, which will inevitably alter the behavior that that person expresses or plays out in their reality. Whenever you intake inorganic information into an organic device, that device is no longer considered organic. It is now genetically mutated. Yes, it is now genetically mutated. And this is the war that we have going on right now. This is really spiritual. Like my chief teaches us, we can't talk about spirituality if we're not talking about biology, if we're not talking about astrology. Because why? Spirituality is what? The study of energy. If you go look up the word spirit and look up what the word spirit means, a lot of people be like, yeah, spirit told me this and spirit told me that. Spirit told me to pray. Spirit is fucking energy reflection. Go look up the word. The etymology of the word spirit in Latin means spiritus. Spiritus means breath. Breath gives you what? Oh wait. Chi. Energy. Prana. Good ass prana, baby. That's what spirit is. It's energy. It gives you energy. So if we're going to talk about spirituality, we got to be talking about biology and astrology, because we are at genetic warfare or Star Wars, which is astrological war or biological genetic war. Astrology and biology go hand in hand. So when we're talking about spirituality, we're talking about this, like she teaches us. We're talking about how energy is being manipulated for it to not exist how it needs to exist. And this is what's going on in our system, and we need to become very aware and cognitive of what's going on, because you are not being controlled consciously. That would be physical slavery if they was controlling us physically, nigga. That's what it would be. We are being controlled subconsciously, like my chief teaches us. We are being controlled through our genetics. And remember, your genetic program, your DNA, your genetics, your genes are congruent to your astrology, to your natal chart. Yes, that's what's going on. That's why we have Star Wars. That's why I titled the video Star Wars and Genetic Warfare. So, once you intake inorganic information, which is really harmful or poisonous microRNAs, because we get microRNAs from organic food and from pure water and from the oxygen and from the sunlight. We get microRNAs from the elements, but there are poisonous ones or synthetic versions of microRNAs, which a microRNA is a partial copy of a gene. That's what RNA is. If you go study biology like she teaches us, you will see that RNA is a partial copy of a gene. RNA is a copy of a gene that goes out to give instruction on what type of protein to create. Proteins are the building blocks of life, reflection. Like my chief teaches us, you don't gotta go eat no beans or go work out and eat a lot of meat to get no protein. You are a protein. Your body consists and comprises of 150,000 different types of proteins. So that RNA that you are intaking through your food is actually going on and translating into your biology to create proteins, and proteins go on to create cells, which is living life, cells like you and I. So if you are getting harmful microRNAs through synthetic food that we are being given, through synthetic forms of water that we are getting from our grocery stores, then what you are doing is you are falling into the trap of mind control. You are falling into the trap of the genetic warfare that they have programmed and set in place for us to destroy ourselves. Because guess what? Like Chief teaches us, he put us on to Dr. Bruce Lipton. You are what you eat, reflection. You are, and remember, food is not limited to what you put inside your mouth. It's not limited to what you drink. Everything that's in your reality is information, like my chief teaches us. Food is information. Food is anything that you take and receive through your 5 senses. So whatever information that you take in, or poisonous, harmful microRNAs that you put in, you become one with. That's why the saying goes, and it rains. You are what you eat. You become one with what you eat. And Dr. Bruce Lipton, which is a scientist for the field of epigenetics, which is a branch in science and biology, Dr. Bruce Lipton reminds us. Go look at his research. Dr. Bruce Lipton reminds us that those microRNAs that you are intaking and receiving from genetically modified foods and beverages, these microRNAs are indestructible, reflection. They are indestructible. Like I'm talking about like the shit that they gave Wolverine and the X-Men, like that adamantium. Those harmful microRNAs are indestructible. They cannot be cooked out of your food. They cannot be boiled out of your food. They can't be seared out of your food, steamed out of your food, frozen out your food, boiled out that shit, soufflé, sauteed, sun-dried, oven-baked, broiled, nothing, reflection. Those microRNAs from the GMO foods are indestructible. They can't break down nothing. And guess what? Unlike the organic microRNAs that you receive from organic food, those are able to be digested in your body to be released through fecal matter. Those microRNAs that you get from GMO food, them damn things not able to get digested. They're not able to be digested and released through your fecal matter. No, what happens is that genetic material is actually picked up by your gut. It's picked up by your gut, and then it's translated to your biology. It's translated to your bloodstream. And guess what's inside your bloodstream? Red blood cells. Guess what's inside those cells? DNA. So those harmful microRNAs are translated to your bloodstream, and it goes into every cell, into every DNA inside the cells in your body. And it alters and regulates your biology. It alters your genetic makeup, which makes you a victim of genetic warfare. right? But guess what? There's more. Like Chief teaches us. When that happens, when you alter your genes, because remember, DNA is the mind. DNA is the mind, and your genes are thoughts, different attributes, different thoughts of the DNA. So when you hear mind, think of DNA. When you hear thoughts, think of genes. So your genes are different thoughts of the mind or DNA, which is God. So what's happening in this process is that not only are you altering your biology, but you have to remember, like the Most High Chief Babaji teaches us, we exist not only on a 3D dimension, we don't exist not only on a biological realm, we exist on a subatomic level, on a molecular level, right? God exists. If you want to know where God is, we have to study the first and the second dimension, like Chief teaches us. This 3D realm is the physical realm. The second dimension is the molecular realm, the cellular realm. And then the first dimension is the subatomic realm, the molecular realm, where we got atoms, protons, neutrons, and electrons, which is comprised of 99.999% dark matter, which is what? Nothingness, energy. And you are an astrological being, right? The planetary bodies have an effect on your energy and how you think and how you behave. So when you eat genetically modified food and that shit picked up by your bloodstream and it alter your genetics or your genes, which is your thoughts, yes, reflection, you're going on to alter your thoughts, which is your astrology. Now we dealing with the stars. Now we dealing with the stars inside of our mind, because Mars, Pluto, Neptune, none of those planets are above us. They are inside of your mind, like Chief teaches us. The earth is an interface, right? The earth is an interface, a cell inside of our body that allows the universe and its many consciousnesses to come and interact with itself. So we are here on earth at war with our lower self, genetically, spiritually, biologically, astrologically. So when you eat that harmful microRNAs that alter your genetics, you're altering your thoughts, the thoughts that you have in your mind. Now, those thoughts go on to regulate your genetic expression. It controls how you move and how you do things. Now you moving like a Cancer. Now you're playing out the instructions that the RNA that you receive from GMO foods wants you to play out, right? Say if they put the genetic makeup of a pig inside some food and you ate that. Okay, once you ate that, now your body going to adapt to that and become one with that information and one with those instructions. Now you're going to start acting out certain behaviors that pigs act out. You might start eating too much. You might start eating when you should at. You feel me? You might start sleeping when you should at. You feel me? But nevertheless, you begin to start becoming one with that information and those instructions, and you not playing out the organic material that your DNA has been made out of. Now you're not playing out your God body genes. Now you're being a cancer cell, right? Like Chief teaches us, a cancer cell is a cell inside of the body that is malignant. It goes against the body. It goes against the equilibrium of its source, of the host that it lives in. A cancer cell doesn't know that it's a part of something much more bigger than itself. So once you start to eat genetically modified food, and that's all you eating, and you drinking Coca-Cola and Diet Pepsi and Sprite all day, you eating fucking pork and beef all day, now you about to start playing out the instructions that food and them drinks have in that food. You gonna start playing out that behavior because you are what you eat. So be very mindful and cognitive of what's going on out here, reflection. We at genetic warfare. We are at spiritual warfare. It's Star Wars out here, y'all. It's Star Wars out here. The powers that be, or our lower self, is manipulating our minds for us to be artificial so that we can sustain an artificial environment. We don't live in an organic or natural habitat. We live in a zoo. We live in a zoo, y'all. They done simulated everything for us. Cars. You don't look into the jungle and see cars driving around left and right. No. And guess what the pollution from the car is doing? All that smog and the fumes from the car is going up into the atmosphere. And guess what it's doing? It's messing with our oxygen. It's making us live in a more carbonated environment, which is going to in turn lead to more lung disease or more respiratory infections or issues. We're not going to be able to breathe properly. What happens when we got all these pools out here and we got pharmaceuticals that flush, when people flushing, drug dealers flushing drugs and pills and all this type of shit down the toilet, and it's going into the water, and then they purifying it with chlorine and fluoride. You know what this is doing? This shit eats up your skin. It eats up your genetics. It's eating up your body, slowly but surely. So we have spiritual warfare out here, y'all. It's Star Wars out here. You got to know your energies, and you got to know what you need to put in your body for your energies to run smoothly, for your energies to be running at a premium or at an optimum level. Also, to go along with that, other people, that's where Star Wars get real too, because other people have different astrological energies, and they too are eating genetically modified food. They are watching genetically modified programs, genetically modified TV, drinking genetically modified beer, water, wine, juice. And when you interact with them, you begin to exchange energy with them. So if their energy is not conducive with yours, they're becoming a destructive interference in your reality. They're becoming a destructive interaction or a deflection in your reality, and it's harming your energy. Remember, your subconscious mind cannot distinguish or differentiate whether you are that person or that person is you. If this person next to you is eating McDonald's and talking about bullshit, then you are eating McDonald's. Your neuron cells is called mirror neurons. Whatever your neurons in your brain see another cell acting out a certain motor function, it thinks that you are doing it. Your subconscious mind doesn't see separation. So if you with somebody, they eating McDonald's or Burger King next to you, your ass is eating it as well. If you right here sitting next to somebody and they drinking a bunch of beer or they drinking alcohol all the time, you doing the same thing as well. And this is altering your astrological energies. This is altering how you think. This is Star Wars right here. Other people are different star systems. They are different solar systems. And if they are not conducive with your electromagnetic energy, your EMF field, then you need to get them away, or you need to extract yourself away from them and isolate yourself and put only what you want inside your being, what's conducive for you. But make sure it's organic information. Same thing with the internet. We in the age of information. You see all these different astrological energies, all these different beings, all these different entities putting different type of information online, on the internet, on the ethernet, the Akashic records, like Chief teaches us. But these beings have unfulfilled information. So if you are taking heed and listening to unfulfilled information, which is lies, then you're programming your DNA, which is your mind, to be running off of lies. Now this is what you expressing. Now you living a lie. You think that the sky is blue. But in all reality, like Chief teaches, the sky not blue, it's black. Because we live inside of our mind, and our mind is encased in complete darkness. We don't exist. We live in darkness. And we live on a big ass rock in the middle of nothingness. And our thoughts are being used to light up our dream or light up our reality. But if the thoughts or the genes in your DNA or in your mind has been altered with genetically modified microRNAs or misinformation or lies, then you are going to be a lie. You are going to be a genetically modified organism, or a mutation of what you once was. You're going to be a synthetic version of what you used to be. You used to be God. Now you and your lower self being the evil one. Because the evil one, like Chief teaches us, is an entity that lives backwards. Turn that word around. Turn the word devil around. It's spelled lived. So for you to be the evil one or be a devil means for you to be living against your own nature. And that's what's going on in this society. We live against our own nature because we are at genetic warfare. We don't understand the nature of spirituality. We don't understand the nature of genetic warfare or Star Wars. Us not understanding the nature of spirituality comes from us having our spirituality taken from us and wiped out. We the unknown, the X-Men, the men in black, right? Melanated beings like she teaches us. We don't know who we are because our spirituality, our way of life, and how we use our energy has been altered. It has been tampered with and modified and altered for us to be living out Europeanism or living like white supremacy. So pay attention, reflection. We have war out here. Life is not what you think it is. Them people that you with is not what you think it is. That food that you eating is not what you think it is. Everything is information. Zeros and ones. Binary code. Instructions for you, for your DNA to be playing out, or for your DNA to express your genetics through. That's what life is. Life is, you might ask, what's real? Like she teaches us. What's real is the electrical signals that your brain or your mind is receiving from its environment and using to interpret your reality. That's what's real. But if you taking in false information, GMO information, then what you perceive to be reality is not real. It is an illusion because you are living lies. You are filled up a bunch of lies. You are filled up of a bunch of lies. So I wanted to get on here and reflect the light from my chief, man, and bring to y'all awareness how we are at war. We not at physical war right now. No, we not at physical war. We're at a subconscious warfare, spiritual warfare. It's warfare against our energies. Your mind is the womb of consciousness, like she teaches us. The womb is not where you get pregnant at. When we think about the womb, we think about the woman's vagina and a baby coming out. But the womb is actually the womb of consciousness, like she teaches us. Because we all come from the black woman. And the black woman is the XX chromosome, which is the quantum unified field, or in Egyptology, the primordial waters of Nu. So we all come from the darkness. We all come from that. I lost my train of thought. What I was about to say? But yeah, y'all. Pay attention. Pay attention to your energy. Your energy is being alchemized for you to be an artificial being and sustain this artificial environment. So that's what it is, man. Free my chi, man. 3 is free. Y'all pay attention. Go look at the back of them ingredients of that food. Make sure that water is spring water. Make sure you getting the bulk of your water from fruit. You feel me? Watermelon, cucumbers, strawberries, blackberries, things of that nature. Make sure that you're not dealing with other astrological energies, other stars, which are other people, that is not conducive for your energy. If they are a destructive interference, get away from them. Get them out your shit. Stop watching that program on TV. Stop watching certain information from all these false gurus and these false spiritual leaders out here that has unfulfilled information. How you getting information from a person or from an astrological energy that got dye in their hair, that got a bald head, that, you feel me, that's got a suit and a tie on? They feeding you genetically modified information, which is a war on your, or attack on your genetics, or an attack on your DNA, which is your mind. All right, man. So stay cognitive of your subconscious mind out here. All right. Reflect the light from the Most High Chi Babaji, y'all. I love myself. Peace to the guys. 3 is free.